except every now and again somebody go pop up and run it, you know.
Right.
But yeah, it's all good, man. We just about got everything straight for him.
Yeah, man. This. I think Sunday. I think
Mm.
Zena got my mama making shrimp fried rice. Deanna making Big Mac. My sister. So I don't know
But
what's the
Sunday's
break
gonna
on that.
rain, see.
For real?
Yeah. 50% chance of rain.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how would that happen?
We still gonna do what we do at the church. Do it inside.
Yeah.
I roll with the flow, man. Man, there's no certain way to do nothing
Because if
other
it
than
depends
decent
on
and
what
order.
kind of rain it's gonna be, man. I got a big old tent. Well, I don't have my mom and them got a big old tent they could put up. But if it's raining and it's breezy, that'll be a problem.
Shit, bro, God gonna always make a way.
Yeah.
That's why I'm I'm trying to teach this about what we've been taught, right? And we've been taught that the people was wandering for 40 years, and God didn't let Moses go in the promised land, and there's a lot of stuff they just told us, right? My thing is why, right? Because when if you tell me this, right? If you tell me this, and when I pick the Bible up and I'm reading different stuff, you know, from what you telling me, either you lying or I'm tripping. One or the other. One or the other. So when I'm like if I go to Judges, if I go to Joshua, right? And Joshua is telling me about what happened, right? So Joshua, you talking about in the promised land or before y'all got to the promised land? You can't talk about the promised land without speaking before the promised land.
Yeah, before you.
Because everything that happened in Canaan, which today is Israel, because I'm trying to show, I was showing in the book, right? If let me show you something. And this is all I be trying to tell all of them, right? You're not gonna give me no in-depth study. You're just gonna tell me what the Bible say, right? Okay. When I pick up the Bible and I go to Joshua, and Joshua telling me about what happened in Hebron, Joshua telling me about the kings in Jerusalem. If I'm reading in Joshua, he's telling me about all these kings, right? Okay. But when I pick the Bible up and I read in Samuel that Saul was the first king, now I'm confused. Well, who these kings Joshua was fighting? Because you had the king of Jerusalem, the king of Hebron. You had different kings. So if Israel didn't have kings until Samuel, where these other kings came from?
See, but the biggest thing is, and the biggest problem is that we gonna, as people, we gonna receive it as the pastor or whoever telling us that. Nobody's gonna go in depth like you do.
So now,
So
to show you this, right, Jerry? To show you this, not to cut you off, but to show you this, right? This is where they started out in Egypt, right? This is how they're gonna travel all the way down here. He gonna build a tabernacle. Moses gonna get angry to get the commandments, right? From here to here is an 11-day journey, just 11 days, right? When they get here, this is when they cut a fool, man. God had been feeding them. God been doing a lot of stuff for them, right? So now they complaining about the food. 11th chapter, right? We get in the 12th chapter. Now you got Miriam and Aaron tripping on Moses. We get in the 13th chapter. Now you're going to send the spies. The spies going to come back. 10 going to have a bad report. 2 going to have a good report, right? The 11th chapter begins the wandering because now they're going against God. But if you don't break that down to, and Moses couldn't lead the children of Israel, why? Why? Oh, because God told him to speak to the rock. He struck the rock. Why? Why? I can't ask you why. Yeah. Oh, see, some things we're not supposed to know. You lying. Because when I read the Bible, it's going to tell me God told Aaron and Moses while they were in the tabernacle, say, man, look, get the children together, meet them, but speak to the rock this time. Don't hit the rock. So now Moses going to hit the rock. God said, Moses, because you and Aaron doubted me. You got a lot of people love Moses.
Right.
They think Moses all this and that. Give a damn about no Moses.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Moses did what Moses did. You gonna do what you gotta do. I'm gonna do what I gotta do. Everybody gotta play their part, man. Nobody ain't better than nobody.
Right.
In the eyesight of God, right? So now, if I ask you this, how you gonna get in your feelings? You can't get in your feelings because I won't know.
Right.
That's just like you ask me something. So now I'm explaining to them they wasn't wandering the wilderness for no 40 years. Because no, from here to here, that was 11 days.
Right.
The average pastor might know from here to here, the 11 days after he get here, he's stuck. Now what else happened? Because once we get here, Miriam gonna die, Aaron gonna die. It was a group of leaders came together at Korah, and they tried to go against Moses. God gonna open up the ground, they gonna die. So when we get right here and they start rebelling against God, God just let them wander. It's just a bunch of people wandering. But from here, as we getting ready to go to Canaan, God is leading and guiding them. So why you lying to me, telling me they were wandering for 40 years? If you wander, you don't know where you're going. You don't know what you're doing. Right. But God said, go this way, go that way. Why? Because God already knew when they came out of Egypt that they was going to run into some military that was over here, some military that was over here. He knew this whole area here was the Philistines, right? Now, if you go in the 13th chapter of Numbers, Numbers going to give you a better understanding of what happened with the spies in Kadesh, which is right here, right? But if I go in the 13th chapter of Genesis, I'm going to learn the same thing, but I'm dealing with Abraham. Abraham was already in this land, in the land of Canaan. Abraham was already there. So now, if you don't understand Abraham, how you going to teach me about what happened with Joshua? Because Abraham had already made an altar in Canaan. Let me show you something. Let me show you something. Watch this. Common sense to tell me, right? If I send you across the river, right? You done been across the river. Everybody else ain't got there yet, but you done been there.
Right.
So I say, man, what it was like across the river, man, did that, another. But you done been there.
Right.
But the thing is, it depends on your report. But the people was already tripping, man. They were complaining about the food. Said, bro, y'all want to complain when I fed y'all back there? So now you got a bunch of people say it was the Egyptians that left with them was complaining. Said, bro, we won't go back where we had fried fish, where we had greens, where we had, now you feeding us. Because okay, God fed them manna. Where the manna came from? Manna came from the ground.
Okay.
And God would stir up the wind. It was really seeds. So as the seeds was blowing around, you grab it, you grab it, you grab it, you grab it. You ain't tell me that, Pastor. I'm thinking something just came down and people pick it up and ate it. So now, okay, watch this. I'm gonna show you something, man. That they get in their feelings, but how you gonna get in your feelings? You trying to teach me something you don't know.
That's why they get in their feelings, because you keep asking these questions, they can't explain it.
In the 13th chapter, right? Arise, walk through the land, in the length of it, in the breadth of it, and I will give it to thee. And Abraham removed all the tents and came unto and dwelt in the plain of Merib, which is in Hebron, and built there an altar unto the Lord, right? Right? It was Abraham did, right? Well, in Hebron, right? If I go to Joshua, come here, Joshua. Go to the 10th chapter of Joshua. Watch this. If Abraham already built the altar in Hebron, now we get Joshua, right? That they feared greatly because Gibeon cities, and because it was great than Ai. And all of the men therefore were mighty. Wherefore Andazeki, king of Jerusalem, sent unto Hoam, the king of Hebron. So Joshua, when we get to 22, Joshua is really going to break down what's happening over there. But now, is Joshua talking about once they got in Canaan or before Canaan? Because if I go in the 13th chapter of Numbers, 13th chapter of Numbers is going to line up with the 13th chapter of Genesis. If I go in the 12th chapter of Exodus, the 12th chapter of Exodus is going to line up with the 12th chapter of Numbers. Because if I go in the 12th, it's going to teach me when they come out of Egypt. So now everything happened in the same area. Abraham was already in the land. So now, why would God take them out of slavery? Because the 400 years up. Your time up. God told Abraham, say, bro, after 400 years, y'all good. The time up. So now they wandering. That's stupidity to me, man. You're teaching me to be stupid. That's not what the Bible say. Teach me what the Bible say. Okay. What the Bible says, see, Moses said they wandered. Okay, who was Moses? Moses a man like me. Moses did his job. That's why God told Joshua, Moses dead. Don't come tell me about what Moses said. He dead. What he gonna do for you? He did what he gonna do. Now you gotta lead these people. Right. You gonna do what Moses didn't do. Moses fought kings. You didn't have to fight no kings. Moses had to fight no kings. You got to go fight these kings. Now, when you go fight these kings, it's going to show how you are a prototype of Jesus, which is kings of kings. What king defeated Joshua? None. None. So now they're in the land of Canaan and they got to fight all these different people. But they're going to go to a certain port, Jerusalem, Hebron. If I go to Abraham, Mary, which is a port of Hebron, right? But when they were here at Kadesh, right? They're going to go here, which is the promised land. Just the promised land. Just the promised land, right? I'm going to use Kadesh. I want to show you. That's why I say, man, I'm missing with that elementary teaching, right? This is what they are in the Bible. When I get to the 13th chapter, this is where they are, Kadesh, right? What this is. See this coloring? All of this is, it says Israel, but Israel is Canaan. The land of Canaan is Israel. This is what it was called back then. This is what it is called now. So now if I don't have that understanding, I'm thinking Israel or I'm thinking Canaan. I'm not thinking it's the same thing. That's like when I say master teacher. These dummies say, Jesus was the only master teacher. Jesus ain't never say he was a master teacher. But master teacher, master and teacher mean the same thing. One word, same thing. But now you got a bunch of people don't know. You grab a Bible, you're going to have a cheap Bible. You're going to have expensive Bible. And the expensive Bible is going to give you a breakdown and it's going to give you a better understanding. So that don't mean that this Bible different from, no, you just got a cheap Bible. That's not giving you a full understanding of what you're reading. Don't say this Bible contradicts this Bible. It don't. It's just some stuff watered down, some stuff taken out, right? So now, when you look at it like this, okay, if I go back here, this is where they're at, in Egypt. They go down here, right? The reason why God is leading them this way, because they got to come through the Red Sea, which is a part of baptism. They got to come through the cross Jordan, which is a part of baptism, right? Okay, so now, as they come through here, God is hiding them from the Egyptians' military, because they got military over here, they got military over here. If they come this way, they're going to run into all the Philistines. No, man. So how they wondering if God telling them which way to go? Where we get that stupidity from, man? Like, okay, are we really reading and studying the Bible? We just repeating what we heard. So now, as they go down here, they come back up. When they get here, now they complaining. Now they fussing.
So he have them wandering.
Now he gonna do you?
Yeah.
Do you? You want a trip? Do you?
You know it all. Huh?
Yeah, do you? And that's where the church at right now today. The church is wandering. We don't have a clue. We don't know what to do. Because we done got away from God, man. We not listening to God. We think we know everything and don't know nothing. But okay, do you? But get what? The same thing happened to them. It's the same thing. Why? When you really read and you study, right? When Moses walked up on the burning bush was a prototype of the church. It was burning, but it was never consumed. Jesus said, and the gates of hell should not prevail. A lot of stuff gonna go against the church, but it ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. The bush was burning, but it never was consumed. So now, if you can't tie the Old Testament with the New Testament, come on, man, don't even talk to me, man. Because you're going to come off stupid to me, and I don't want you to be stupid. So now I'm showing you, okay, when I get to the 11th chapter, we remember the fish which did eat in Egypt freely. The cucumbers and the melons and the leeks and the onions and the garlic. But now our soul is dried away. There is none at all besides this manna before our eyes. Man, look how you done made God feel, bro. But the pastor ain't gonna tell me all that.
Right.
Hold up, bro. You mean tell me That's just like your child, man. I done did all this for you. Now you up in age. Now you want to be great. Why you want to be?
Kick me in my butt.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I ain't do nothing for you.
Yeah.
Like I don't care about you.
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing for you, man. So now y'all won't go back where y'all was getting fish and onions and cucumbers. So 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All they did was rebel against God, man. So now God said, okay, because if I go to the 12th chapter, if I go back in the 12th, if I go to the 16th chapter of Exodus, the Bible says he gave them the manna. They just come out of Egypt. It was all right with it then. Now y'all done got here. Now y'all want to trip on me? But now our souls are dried away. There is none at all besides this manna before our eyes. Exodus 11 and 6. And the manna was coriander seed, and the color thereof, and the color of Belgium. It was a bunch of seeds. So as the seeds flying around, you grab what you need. Did you know that? So we thinking, and the people went about and gathered it and ground it in mills, or beat it in a mortar, and baked it in a pan, and made cakes of it. And the taste of it was the taste of fresh oil. And when the dew fell upon the camp in the night, the manna fell upon it. Bunch of seeds, man. You gotta cook it. You gotta do what you want with it. So we thinking that some food that fell out the sky. So now, if you don't understand this process, how you gonna teach me about that last week process? Because now Jesus is gonna sit at the table. Jesus is gonna eat with them. Jesus is gonna break bread with them. We know Jesus later, we're gonna learn that he's the unleavened bread. We're gonna learn later that he is the resurrection. So now, if we don't understand this process, come on, man, we'll never get what
you're lost.
Yeah. The thing is that, okay, this what Pastor taught me. But here come this joker gonna question what Pastor taught me. So now he gonna make you believe your pastor lied to you. Because guess what? That's what you was told. So now, how you gonna? How you think the majority of dudes in jail get with these other religions? Because you got a bunch of dudes being there reading and studying, man. And the average Christian that come to jail, he don't really know no Bible. The average man really don't know the Bible, Jerry. Right. But these dudes that's Muslims and all of this other stuff, that's all they do is read and study, man. So now when you get to jail, they're going to throw this stuff in your face. Oh, man, let me show you something. See, read right here. Aaron and Miriam was mad with Moses. That's why they did it. See right here? And Moses had an Ethiopian woman whom he had married. For he had married an Ethiopian woman. You know everybody in Ethiopia is black. Right. So Moses had a black wife. So now his sister and brother mad because he got a black wife. But you don't know the rest of the story. And because you don't know the rest of the story, you're already mad with the white man because you're in jail. You're already mad with the white man because he done arrested you. So now, this is the game they play on you. This will make them Israelite people. So, and the white man isn't the white man that knows. Teach me the Bible. Give me a better understanding of the word. They don't. They can't. Because they're going to deal with one verse. If I go to chapter 11, it's going to tell me what they did. If I go to 12, go to every chapter, go to the first verse, and it's going to tell you what they did. It's going to tell you what they did. So now, when I get to chapter 21, after they done hit the rock, and the children of Israel, even the whole congregation, journeyed from Kadesh and came unto Mount Hor. And the Lord spoke unto Moses and Aaron in Mount Hor by the coast of the land of Edom, saying, Aaron shall be gathered unto his people. Aaron about to die. But yet, if God keep telling y'all, come right here, do this, now y'all about to do this, this about to happen, how the hell you wandering? This is at the end of the wandering. Aaron dead. Aaron is about to die. Then we're going to get into the serpents. We're going to get into the snakes. Before Aaron died, look who died. Miriam died. Then came the children of Israel, the whole congregation, into the desert of Zin in the first month of the people born in Kadesh. And Miriam died there and was buried there. So now, when I picked this book up, right? I said, hold up. Everything happened in Kadesh. Aaron gonna die, Miriam died. These men gonna go against Moses. God gonna open up the ground. So this is where they were wandering. This is the only time they were wandering, when they begin to be rebellious against God, man. So why you lying to me, telling me they was wandering for 40 years? And how could they wander for 40 years? Okay, let me give you a better understanding. I'll show you something. Okay. Right here is Mount Nebo, right? Mm-hmm. This Mount Nebo, this Hebron, this is where they're going to come across the Jordan, right? So if Moses go on Mount Nebo right here, he can look right here. What's that? Jericho. So Moses done left from right here with them, right? God tell them to move out. When they move out, they get ready to come. Aaron gonna die. Yeah. After Aaron died, then come the snake. God gonna see who gonna roll with him and who not. Moses still rolling with them. Moses gonna get up here. Moses gonna go on Mount Nebo, and Moses gonna look over to Jericho. He can't come in the land, but he can look over and see the land. But when I go back and I read Abraham, Sarah, Hagar, and Ishmael, Isaac and Jacob was already in the land of Canaan.
Which is Israel.
Which is Israel. So we got to pray for Israel. When are we praying for Canaan? For what? We're praying for Israel for. Because Israel is Canaan. But if we don't have nobody breaking this stuff down to us, man, how the world we gonna know, man? How the world we gonna know? That's just like Jesus, right? Where Jesus walked, right? But if I go up here between Tyre and Sidon, right? And I go in the book of Matthew, and I read in the book of Matthew, he's gonna deal with the woman that was the woman of Canaan. The woman of the Canaan came to Jesus about his daughter. So we in Israel or we in Canaan? Because back then it was Canaan.
Right.
But they didn't change it from Canaan to Israel. But if you don't know this, and we got, what the hell? Like, who really teaches us the Bible, man? Joker just running their mouth, Jerry. They ain't really teaching us nothing. So when we see this on the news, we don't have no understanding. But it's all biblical. So now, when I begin to break it down, look at then. Look at now. Wasn't no Lebanon back then. You had Syria, Samaria. These are the places you had then. These ones in the red, these the ones that they're gonna tell you about now. So how you gonna keep up with the news? Israel, wasn't no Israel back then, because all this is the land of Canaan. Egypt over here. So if we on our way to the holy city, the New Jerusalem, they were on their way to Canaan, which now today is Israel. We see what they had to do and go through to get here, right? The same thing we have to go through and get to the holy city, the New Jerusalem. At what point will we get rebellious to God? Because we done got brand new in the church. We won't beg and we won't do all this old goofy stuff. We just going off a bunch of goofy stuff, man. When God called us, he didn't call us to do that, because now you're making it about you and not God. So now the same thing happened when they got in the wilderness. Man, we can go back where we was getting fish at. Because one thing I learned about Bible and man don't want to follow man.
Right.
So to keep from following Jerry, man, Jerry lying, man, cause see, look, I'm gonna show y'all this and I'm gonna show y'all that. Well, like Jerry wasn't showing us nothing. Because now I want him to follow me. Now, if I show you this book, man,
yeah,
every king that was a king, right? Every king that was a king killed the king before him.
To become king.
Become king. So if I kill you to be king, I'ma die.
Yeah.
The person gonna kill me to be king. They gonna die.
Yeah.
So the 400 years dealing with the kings. They were cutthroating one another because they wanted to be in power. If I go back and I deal with one of David's sons, Absalom, right? Absalom hated David, his son, his dad. He wanted to kill him, right? But Absalom had a certain port in the land of Canaan that he was trying to run, which was that port with Jerusalem, with Marie dealing with Hebron. To get a better understanding of that, I got to go back to Abraham. So now how you going to teach me a book? I got the book down pat. When I watch the news, I got it down pat. I got it. So what you going to teach me? Because you can't teach me nothing. Right. You're just going to make up a bunch of stuff, right? This Paul journey, right? This Jerusalem. Paul got to come through here, right? He got to get over here to Rome. He got to get to Rome, right? Now, when I study the Old Testament, it's gonna give me the eastern course of what's going on or where Paul at, right? These same places Paul traveling, the same places, if I turn the other book, Jesus traveled, right? So now, Jesus is traveling, teaching them about the kingdom of God. Paul is traveling, teaching them about the death, the burial, and the resurrection and the ascension of Christ. The people before Paul, they understood tabernacle. We have to understand Jesus. We wasn't back then. We can't get that. Why? Because once they got to Babylon, the whole ball game got changed. The whole ball game got changed. So now we got to deal with Babylon, the Media Persia, Greece, Rome. Rome took over the ball game, right? So now, when they run out there, I'm gonna show you something, right? I want to deal with the judges, right? And when I deal with the judges, I'm gonna show you how the different judges had took over, right? I'm gonna show it to you in this book. It's in that book. I'm gonna show you this book, right? This is what happened with the children of Israel in the book of Judges, right? Israel disobeyed God. Israel is oppressed by the enemies. Israel cries out to God. Israel raised up a judge to deliver Israel. Experience a time in peace, right? They go right back disobeying God. God gonna let somebody oppress them. So it just was a cycle. It was a cycle once they got in the land of Canaan. Same thing in the church. We won't be Baptist, we won't be Pentecostal, we won't be full gospel, we won't be Kojic. It's just a cycle, just a cycle. Where it's going? Where it's going? I don't want to be none of that. I don't want to be a Muslim, where it's going. Because the same thing happening today is the same thing they went through right here in the Bible. Same thing. In that other book, right? I show you the different judges, right? And the different stuff that happened to the judges. Every time God had to raise up a judge. And these were the enemies. These were the enemies, the Moabites, the Philistines, the Canaanites, the Midianites. These was the enemies they had to fight because they weren't listening to God, man. This man done brought you all the way to Egypt, all the way from Egypt. But the key thing is, when they came out of Egypt and they got in the wilderness, only the two people really came out of Egypt, which was Caleb and Jacob. You had a bunch of young people that grew up in the wilderness.
Right, okay.
Who knew nothing about Egypt. So now them the ones that's going to the promised land. All the old people gonna die. Yeah. They all here. God said 20 and over, y'all gonna die. Y'all know everything. And if you look at the church, the average old person, well, I've been in the church 40, 50, 60 years. Who cares? Like, who cares? You're in the way, man. Why? Okay, we headed somewhere. Well, I know where we come from. We headed somewhere. But God said, okay, let him deal with it. So now, when you study these judges, right? You study these judges and you break down these judges. One of these judges couldn't handle it. He committed suicide. But all we know about is Judah committed suicide. Samson committed suicide.
Yeah. And all these old men don't want to change or nothing.
They're not going to change, Jared, because they think they know. That's why the church, if they was doing right, all the stuff they've been doing in the church was right, why the church so messed up? Why the church so messed up?
And the same with the politics. They all getting old and they don't
Because
want
they
change.
go together.
Yeah.
All of them work together.
Yeah.
You heard what you just said? Let me show you something. I'm going to read it to you. Watch this.
And I want change. You let them young people.
Watch this. I'll read something to you. Some may argue that these women who were very close to Jesus are not objective witnesses. The significance of these eyewitnesses lies in the understanding of the role of women in the first century of Judea. During the time of Jesus, a woman's testimony was considered worthless. Woman ain't nobody. All through the Bible, she was considered nobody. So if that woman says she's seen something, because of whatever she said was worthless.
Yeah.
A woman's testimony was considered worthless. In fact, a woman was not allowed to serve as a witness in court. And early believers wanted to fabricate the resurrection of Jesus. They would not use women as the primary witness. They would have come up with a witness who were men who had political or religious influence in the community. Same garbage in the church today. Same garbage in the church today. I ain't said it, you said it. Same garbage. The politician come to the church. The politician give me an envelope. I take the envelope and put it in my pocket. So now I'm gonna tell the people, okay, y'all vote for him.
For him. I'll let him speak and everything.
He done paid me.
Yeah.
Where's God, man? See the political garbage that be in the church? But, hey man, he gonna look out for me. You know, he gonna help me get this piece of property. Or he gonna help me open this up. They ain't gonna go against me when I want to do this and do that. Okay, well, what about the people? Because y'all messing the people up.
You think about the people, you think about self.
All game. All game. So now, when it's all said and done, where's God? Where's God? Sure don't care about no God, man. They don't care about themselves. They have an Aaron and the Moses and all the leaders at Korah mentality. Don't care about the people, man. You leading the people. That's why God was so upset with Aaron and Moses. God was upset with them because, say, man, this is how you gonna represent me in front of these people? If you represent me the right way, I got you. But you didn't represent me the right way. Just imagine if you would have spoke to that rock and water would have came out that rock, boy, you'd have messed them up. You would have messed them up. But because you did something you had already did, they already complaining. They already fussing. They ain't seen nothing new. What's new we doing in the church? What's new we doing in the church? Nothing. Nothing. A bunch of garbage, man. So,
The same thing.
Same thing. Ain't nothing new going on. Because we not listening to God.
And I never really looked at it as until I heard that from you. A bunch of them ain't nothing but motivated speakers.
Pay attention to the majority of people come on social media. They don't know the Bible. They might know one or two verses, but they really don't know the Bible. The majority of them trying to get paid through social media.
Right.
Because social media pay you for
Right.
your content now, right? So now the game is, if I go to Revelation gonna tell me about 666. 666 is numbers, right? Which is the number of the man, right? On social media, we running behind numbers. So we following the image of a number. Because we looking at how many likes we got, how many comments we got, how many followers we got, how many subscribers we got. We caught up in numbers. So we already following the beast. So when I say I don't give a damn, I'm the bad guy. Why? Because I don't care if you watch me or not. I don't care if you follow me or not. Because I'm not caught up in the numbers. When little Stephen was on trial, right? This is little Stephen. This their first charge, their second charge, their third charge, their fourth charge, fifth charge. These are all the charges that Stephen is bringing against the council in Israel, right? Y'all think y'all so important. Y'all think y'all so smart. Why y'all did this? Why y'all did that? Why y'all did this? So now he says right here, our father had the tabernacle of witness in the wilderness, as he appointed speaking unto Moses, that he should make it according to the fashion that he had seen, which also our father that came after brought in with Joshua into the possession of the Gentiles, whom God drove out before the face of our fathers unto the day of David. So if you don't understand Abraham, you don't understand Joshua, how you gonna understand David? Because David is the chosen king of Israel. But Joshua is showing us how to fight kings. He fought almost 30-some kings, man. Nobody beat him. So if you don't pay attention to Joshua, what you gonna know about David? So now if Joshua then destroyed all of these kings in the land of Canaan, now the people, when we get in Judges, we want a king. We want a king. Everybody else got a king. How when Joshua done beat all of them? He done beat them. So now God said, okay, I'm gonna give y'all a king. Yeah, y'all go ahead. Y'all get what y'all want. They're gonna get Saul. They're gonna get Saul. Why Saul, who came from the poorest tribe of Israel? Because Judah was the poorest tribe. I mean, Benjamin was the poorest tribe of Israel. Why that tribe? Because that's what they chose. That's what the people chose. The same thing that happened when they were in the wilderness. They won't do it their way.
And it's crazy, bro. It's you know, but then I mean, because I'm looking at it on political, and then you get the United States butting everybody business. Israel hitting, Iran hitting Israel right now. They help Iran accept all the bombs, right? Whatever. But all those people, you know, the only country that people is living off the royalty of the land that God left for them is what's the name of it? Kuwait. You know why? Because everybody that's originally from Kuwait, from 100 years back, they live off the royalty, the fat of the land. They get checks.
Kuwait, Iraq, Russia, China, Pakistan, India. China is going to control this side of it. Russia got this part of it. United States got everything else. Because as you say, they done did Kuwait. They done had the Gulf War. They done did Iraq. Iraq controls the oil. This is where all the oil is.
That's right.
This is where all the oil is. If I go over here, it's gonna put me down in Saudi Arabia. But wasn't no Saudi Arabia back then. It was the medians.
And basically, that's what it's all about. Now, the problem is with Iraq is that the United States can't get there how they want because of the insurgents.
They're already in power with it, though.
Yeah, but they, you know, I mean, but when I was there, you had BP, you had all the big gas companies in the Gulf waiting for the United States to stop or to make peace in Iraq so it could be a democracy.
Right.
Never was able to do it.
Right.
Because them people, they don't want that, so they're gonna keep bombing you.
So now, where you at with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I go in the book of Revelation, it says when it comes down to the economy, but keep in mind now, Saudi Arabia, median then, right?
Mm-hmm.
The medians are who? Who the medians is?
Saudi Arabia.
Who the Amalekites?
Okay.
The medians are the people that came from Abraham.
Okay.
Abraham had other kids, but not Sarah, by the woman Keturah. The medians come from them. So everybody fighting over that piece of the land. So now, okay, if we control Saudi Arabia, which are the medians, we're gonna control on that page, this whole area, right? Now, if I go back and break down the Amalekites, see the little bitty dots? The little bitty dots is when King Saul was in control over Canaan, right? Okay. But when David became king, look how it enlarged.
Okay.
Look how the area enlarged. Okay. So now we going into their territory. We was up here, but we done went into their territory.
Right.
So see how
Yeah.
King David, King Saul, a lot of this come from what happened way back when, man.
Yeah.
So now we're looking at the 12 tribes, but it's more than the 12 tribes because you can't leave out Ishmael and you can't leave out them other 5 children that Keturah had for Abraham. So this is the whole problem. The whole problem. The whole problem. Major. Yeah. So now, when we get to this day and time, and we get to Revelation, and we get to dealing with the economy, and when he had opened the 3rd seal, and when he had opened the 3rd seal, I heard the 3rd beast say, "Come and see." And I beheld, lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balance in his hand. The balance was the scale. That's the scale, because that's how I charged you back then. You know, remember the thing we used to have when we the scale like that? Yeah. It was a balance in the hand, which was the scale, right? And I heard a voice in the midst of the 4 beasts say, "A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. And see that thou hurt not the oil and the wine." The wine are the trees, which are the vines, which are to feed the people. The oil is which is going to control the economy. We already know Russia done bombed Ukraine. That's where the wheat is at. So now Russia controls that part of it. United States been did what they did to what the name, Gaddafi and all them other people.
Saddam and
you know what I'm saying?
Them, yeah.
So they control that. China controls the port. That's what they did during the time of the pandemic. That's why all this stuff being these little stores cheap now from Amazon. Because China made that stuff sit in that water all that time during the pandemic. So China, Russia, and United States is gonna run the world. But they're gonna make the people believe that they're beefing. But if you don't understand how when they came from Egypt all the way to Canaan, which is Israel, this is the main part everybody leaves out, right? See this part right here? I have to show it to you in the map. From Kadesh to Gaza is where they fought, right? If I go in Joshua gonna put me on game about Kadesh, right? I can use this one. This is where they was at Kadesh. This is Gaza. When they come from Egypt, they come through here, they come here. This is where they came into Canaan to spy. But they came through here, Gaza. They weren't about to go that deep off in there. They come right here, right through Gaza. This is why I tell the people, stay focused on Gaza. Because Gaza was the strip. That was the port. That's how you get through here.
Right.
Because you done made it past the Philistines. Well, we're in world trouble.
Yeah.
We're in world trouble. So why would I want to sit up under your pastor trying to give me a motivation when I see what's getting ready to happen in the world, man? And I see what the government is doing. I don't want to hear that goofy stuff. I got to stay focused on God, because that's what happened with the children of Israel. They got caught up in a bunch of goofy stuff. So now everybody going against everybody. Aaron and Miriam, he think he the only one God talk to? Hey, hold up, bro. God said, bro, I hear y'all talking about my dude, man. That's my dude. Man, we could have stayed in Egypt, man, where we was getting good fish, good manna. Good onions, and we was eating good over there. So now you got a bunch of people complaining, just like today. NFL took your Sunday. Before NFL took your Sunday, you was going to go to church.
Right.
So now we got to get ready for our tail parties. We got to get ready for our football game parties. Care less about church. We got to watch football. So football took Sunday away. And look at all the other events that goes on Sundays that people going to go to. So how many people really running behind God?
Nobody.
They going to do what they do.
They're running about.
They enjoying life.
Yeah.
They enjoying life. That's what happened with the children of Israel when they got into Canaan. That's why God had to always keep giving them a judge, somebody to deliver them. Because the minute they started acting up, the enemy took over. The enemy took over. The enemy took over. And that's what happened with the church.
There you go.
That was a real productive 30 minutes.
Hey, tomorrow.
All right.
I'll call you.
I'll hit you up in a little while.
All right.
Last week, it was raining. So I had my member to make copies of this stuff, right? You could get it in the mail or you could get it in the email. It don't matter to us as long as you get it, right? You got a bunch of them gonna jump out there with that Passover and the day of Pentecost, right? When I send you this, right? I need to pick that back up too. I need to pick something up. When I send you this, right? And when you get this, right here are the scriptures. Then they that gladly received his word were baptized, and the same day they were added unto them about 3,000. In here, it's going to give you an understanding. In here is the scriptures. On the outside is a breakdown of every verse. When we read down here, right, it's an introductory. This is the first look at the early church. It shows us that the traits and characteristics, and it shows us that the traits that characterize the daily lives of believers should be perked on the conscience of the modern day church, right? When we break it down and we deal with the day of Pentecost, it says in the day of Pentecost has fully come, right? If you ask the average church folks what that means, they couldn't tell you. They couldn't tell you, right? Okay, now, I want you all to have this in your hand. As I begin to break this down, Acts the 2nd chapter. Because they're going to tell you a bunch of lies. They're going to tell you a bunch of lies. You got to be baptized in Jesus' name, and you're going to come up speaking in tongues. That's a lie. Show it to them in the Bible. They can't. They say, now a sound came. The sound was like a mighty rushing wind. Break that down. Break that down. What happened, Luke? We heard a sound. What the sound was like, Luke? It was like a mighty rushing wind. And it filled the room. And it got in the people. If I go to Ezekiel, God said prophesy to the bones. And Ezekiel said he heard a crackling sound. Even though Ezekiel heard a sound, Ezekiel said every bone was being joined to its bone. Ezekiel said, and then there were veins, and then there was skin that covered the bones. But wherever the bone died, it lied. Whatever position the bone, that person died in, the bones, even though skin covered it, even though veins were in it, even though the bones came together, it still was in that position. God now tells Ezekiel, speak to the wind. And it was the wind that came and filled them. And then the Bible said they stood up like a mighty army after the wind got in them, right? Okay. On the day of Pentecost, the wind filled the room, and then it got into them. And everybody spoke as the Spirit gave utterance in your own tongue. So how in the world y'all say that's speaking in tongues when the Spirit gave you utterance and everybody spoke in his own tongue? So if I was from Japan, I spoke. If I was from Africa, that's how I spoke. If I was from America, that's how I spoke. Every person spoke in their own tongue. Back then, because you was a traveler, you spoke the language of the different places you traveled to. This is why Paul spoke almost 14 different languages, because now Paul is traveling. But when Paul first started out and Paul winds up in Iconium, he didn't speak that language. He didn't speak that language. But yet the man who was lame from his mother's womb understood what Paul was saying because of the Spirit. So now, when we pull out the book of Acts, when we pull out what's going on in the wilderness, when we go back to Genesis, when we grab a little Exodus, then we go to Numbers. We know how to tie the 12th chapter of Numbers with the 12th chapter of Exodus, the 13th chapter of Numbers with the 13th chapter of Genesis. I told you, man, God got this thing numerically done. Numerically done. But if you don't know how to do it in Numbers, how you going to teach me something? How you going to teach me something? Because I know once I go to the 22nd chapter of Joshua, hold up, Moses, what you said in that 13th chapter, hold up, Joshua. But then I go back to Abraham. Abraham, you was already in the land according to the 13th chapter. In the 15th chapter, this how you know you're going to inherit the land. But God said 400 years. Now the 400 years are up. The 400 years are up. So now, because of the promise that God made to Abraham, he just gonna let you wander? He gonna let you wander? If you believe that, that's like going to the book of Acts on the day of Pentecost and the Spirit filled the room and it got in there. Now they just wandering. Now they just wandering. They're just going, saying and doing everything. What the world y'all doing in these churches? Told y'all been faking, baby. Tighten your game up. The children of Israel did that in the wilderness. Solomon said, there's nothing new under the sun. When you get away from God, that's when God gonna let you just wander. When you rebel against God, that's when God gonna let you just wander. They get in their feelings. They won't be apostles. They won't be prophets. It was the apostles and the prophets that built the church. How did they build it? I just told you. The Spirit came in and it filled the room. So everybody in the room was an apostle. $120 people in the room. 120 people in the room. And you want me to believe it was 120 apostles? When the Bible says it was Mary and the brethren of Jesus. So was everybody in the upper room an apostle? No. So now, once the Spirit of God have gotten into them, remember now, you break down Matthew, you break down Peter, you break down John. If I go to the book of Revelation, John let me know about the what? The eagle, the ox, the man, right? John's symbol was an eagle. Peter's symbol was the key. Why? Because Jesus said that he was going to give him the keys to the kingdom. But if you don't know the symbolism of the 12, how are you going to know the symbolism of the original 12, which were the 12 tribes of Israel? God does everything decent and in order. Everything God has done in the Old Testament, boom, he gonna give it to you in the New Testament. He gonna give you in the New Testament. So how you cannot have an understanding? If I need the symbol of Peter, if I need the symbol of John, if I need the symbol of Matthew, why you gave all them a symbol? The same reason I gave all 12 tribes of Israel a symbol. That's why, according to the holy city, the New Jerusalem, the 12 tribes are the gates. 3 on the north, 3 on the south, 3 on the east, 3 on the west. 3 times 4 is 12, right? 4 gates, right? 3 at each gate, right? Ezekiel, you break down who they are, right, Ezekiel? Okay, that's for the new city, the holy Jerusalem, right? The 12 apostles, y'all are the foundation of the holy city, the New Jerusalem. So I got my 12 apostles, I got my 12 tribes. Where are y'all getting this other garbage from? When I break this down, right? The early believers were a people who received the word gladly. This is the basic trait, the very first trait of a true church. It actually defines a church. A church is a people, a body of people who have received the word of God. They were not receiving a set of ideas. They were not receiving a position. They were not receiving human philosophy. They were not receiving a set of rules and principles. You can't wear this, and you can't wear that, and you can't say this, and you can't say that. They were not receiving man thoughts. They were not receiving a religion. So when I look at the church today, all I got to do is go back and study Numbers 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And that's going to give me the church. He going to say, you belittling. How? I'm teaching you. He going to say, you put people down. How? I'm teaching you. You're going to feel like it's being you being belittled because you don't want to learn. You don't want to receive it. You're going to make it seem like I'm talking about you because you don't want to receive it. If what y'all been doing in the church was so right, why the church so messed up? Please tell me. Y'all been doing everything. Y'all been doing everything right. I'll wait. I'll wait. I ain't know where to go. Tell me. And you want me? You want me to follow that garbage? I'm going to stay focused on God. I'm going to stay focused on God. And these are the going out of the city in the north side, 4,500 measures. And the gates of the city should be after the names of the tribes of Israel. 3 gates northward, one gate of Reuben, 1 gate of Judah, 1 gate of Levi. And the east side, 4,500, and 3 gates of Joseph, 3 Benjamin, Dan. On the south side, Simeon, Issachar, Zebulun. What are you talking about, Ezekiel? Mike, I'm talking about the holy city. I'm talking about the New Jerusalem. Well, Pastor said we just going to go to heaven and we just going to worship and praise God all day long. Pastor lied to you, Mike. Mike, listen, Mike. Listen, Mike. Listen, I'll show you something, Mike. Having the glory of God, her light was like unto a stone most precious, even a jasper stone, clear as crystal. And all the, well, who are you talking about? The bride. I will show you the bride, the Lamb's wife. So you mean to tell me that the Lamb's wife is the church, the holy city, the New Jerusalem? Yeah. What? Yeah, mate. Soul of Jesus. Now it makes sense about the wedding. God now makes sense about what you are giving to Jesus. Because God, you gave Adam, Eve, and then you gave them a whole world. You giving Jesus the new city, Jerusalem, a whole world. And we're going to be in your presence forever. But if we don't understand old, how we going to grasp new? And had a wall great and high, 12 gates high, and at the gates 12 angels. And the names written thereon, which are the name of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. And on the east 3 gates, and on the north 3 gates, and on the south 3 gates, and on the west 3 gates. And the wall of the city had 12 foundations, and in them the name of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. So, you and your feelings. Because I said, the apostles and the prophets them built the church. But because of your understanding, you and your feelings. The 12 apostles of the Lamb are the foundation. The 12 tribes of Israel are the gates, are the walls. Israel, what you had to build? The temple. Nehemiah, what did you build? The gates. Around what? Nehemiah, the city of Jerusalem. If you cannot tie that old with the new with the old, you can't teach me nothing about no Bible. You can do what you want with some laws and commandments and all that stuff. You don't keep them anyway. Miss me with that garbage. Miss me with that garbage. Why? The same thing that happened during the time Give me a Bible. Pull a Bible. Can't even find it no more. Pull a Bible. You working. Work, baby. That's what we're going to do. We're going to work. We're going to work. We know what happened in 13. We know what happened in 14. We know what happened in 15. In the 16th chapter of Numbers. Now Korah, the son of Ishar, and the son of Kohath, the son of Levi, and Dathan, and Abram, the sons of Eliab, and On, the sons of Pelet, and the sons of Reuben, took men. And they rose up before Moses and certain of the children of Israel, 250 princes of the assembly, famous in the congregation, men of renown. And they gathered themselves together against Moses. And they gathered themselves together against Moses and against Aaron, and said unto them, you take too much upon you, seeing all the congregation are holy, every one of them, and the land and the Lord is among them. Wherefore then lift up yourselves above the congregation of the Lord. And when Moses heard it, he fell on his face. Why, Moses? And these clowns. What they about to do, Moses? They're going to try to go against you. What's going to happen, Moses? God will open up the ground. So now, in the 12th chapter, he already had to deal with Aaron and Miriam. The 11th chapter, he already had to deal with them. Won't go back talking about we got good fish over there, we got cucumbers, and we got onions in Egypt. Getting in 13, now he got to go send the spies. They come back with you done brought fruit back. You done brought fruit back from the land, but then you going to say we can't take over the land. Say, well, what the world going on here? 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 was nothing but rebellion. Nothing but rebellion. God said, okay, Aaron, Moses, get Eleazar together. Because now we got to do this distinction between cleansing Why? Why, God? Mike, because a lot of them about to die. And according to my law, you can't touch nothing dead. So I need to make sure Eleazar is in position to offer an offering outside the camp for anybody that touched something dead. Why, God? That's how I deal with them. Mike, I kill them. I don't know. Go, Mike. I don't play, Mike. They play with me, Mike. Ball game for them. Come on, God. You such a loving God. You such a kind God. Mike, I'm all that. Just don't play with me. So now, what is goofy stuff y'all get it from? Show it to me. You're lying, talking about they wandered for 40 years. Why would God take them out of slavery to wander? Remember now, the 400 years are up. From Egypt to Kadesh of Benera, that was an 11-day journey. After 11 days, now they get to go where? Boom. And the Canaan. Where do you think they spied the land out from? From Kadesh of Benera. So now they're going to leave right there, go into Canaan, spy it out, come back right there, 13th chapter with a report. Did it take 40 years? Joshua, where did y'all go? Over in the land of Canaan. Caleb, where did y'all go? Over in the land of Canaan. How many days was it? 11-day journey. Moses, you said 40 years, right? When did the wandering of the 40 years start? Or is it something you put in there, Moses? You say they were wandering. Because now, when I read Deuteronomy, it was the evil wilderness. And because the wilderness was so evil, God is leading, God is guiding, God is protecting. So when I say don't run out there with that elementary teaching, that's all I'm saying. Because after 11 days, they had them went to the land of Canaan, 12 of them. They had them went to the Gaza Strip and Peep Game, 12 of them. But the thing was, 10 of them came back with a bad report that didn't please God. Now, because y'all don't trust me, y'all don't believe in me, I'm going to just let y'all wander for a while. Y'all go ahead, just wander. They were there 40 years. You can't question that. They were there 40 years, but they wasn't wandering no 40 years. And if they were wandering, why? Because why God would take you out of a situation to have you wandering? Why would Jesus, after 40 days, before he ascended, say go back to Jerusalem and wait for it? Why would he do that? And now Peter and them they're going to just wander? Our faith, people, our trust, our belief have to be in God, man. Had somebody sent me something, right? And people be sending me stuff. Some like me, some don't. But I mean, I love everybody, right? So when they send it to me, right? The dude, he running it, right? He running it, right? About that you're not supposed to name God, say God, some stuff he was going on, right? Because it was this, that, and other, right? And then he said, see, did it in the video. According to what Google says, the garbage out of here. Google could never teach me about God. Google could never teach me about God. That's like looking at a word in the Bible and going to Webster to define it. Why would they have a concordance? Why would the Bible have its own dictionary if you're going to tell me what Webster said? No pastor that's talking about what Webster said or Google said can teach me nothing about the Bible. That's two different worlds. That's the world this the spirit. That's the world, this the spirit. It sound good. It look good. But it don't mean nothing to me. It don't mean nothing to me. It don't mean nothing to me. The majority of stuff I show you all, I know you can't Google it. I know you can't Google it. But I throw the question out there. I go Google it, and y'all run out there and say just what Google say. I say they ain't learning nothing. They ain't learning nothing, God. They ain't learning nothing. They Googlers. Paul says study to show thyself approval. He never said Google. He never said Google. Technology gonna get stronger and stronger and stronger. If everybody run to Google, everybody believe the same thing. Everybody say the same thing. Got him. I got him. I got him. I don't know how I'm gonna get all this paperwork out, but I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it out. I'm gonna get it out. Do I want to use this? No, I'm gonna use that right now. I'm gonna use it tomorrow. I ain't gonna use it right now. I'm gonna label it so I can go straight to it and keep my pattern of teaching up. So now, if I show you this, right, and give you a better understanding of what happened during the time from Egypt, Goshen, all the way to Canaan, which is Israel today, Canaan back then, right? When I break down, right? Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Iraq, Russia, China, Pakistan, India. When I break it down for you, you will have a better understanding. When I deal with Babylon, Media Persia, Greece, Rome, when I deal with the lion, the bear, the leopard, the beast, when I deal with the gold, the silver, the bronze, the iron, the gold, Babylon, the silver, Media Persia, the bronze, Greek, the leg like iron, feet like iron, toes like clay, Rome. Babylon, Media Persia, Greece, Rome. This is the beast. This is the beast. This is the beast. According to Daniel, this is the beast. The beast got 10 toes. The 10 toes are made of clay. You know how y'all like to say, 10 toes down. You got, I'm 10 toes down. You're a beast. The 10 toes are going to dissolve. The leg, iron, the feet, iron represents Rome. Bronze represents Greece. Silver represents Media Persia. The gold represents Babylon. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego had to bow down to King what? Golden image. Daniel had to go in King's what? Den of lions. Babylon is the gold. Babylon is the lion. The lion, the bear, the leopard, the beast. The lion, the bear, the leopard, the beast. Babylon, Media Persia, Greece, Rome. Gold, silver, bronze, iron. That's what we're dealing with. A beast. Man today is going to take some of Babylon traits, Media Persia traits, Greek traits. Boom. Iron, Rome. How Babylon ruled, how Media Persia ruled, how the Greeks ruled, how Rome once ruled. And they're going to use all the stuff that they use. They're going to use different things that they use to rule the world then. They're going to do it now. while we pouring oil, while we running behind cars and houses and all that, they're sitting at the table. If my intelligent, retarded self could sit in the backyard and everything I ever told you all, everything I ever showed you all, if I can do it, just imagine a bunch of people. It don't have to be a whole lot of them that have a whole lot of money with a whole lot of resources. I'm going to pay you for this information. I'm going to pay you for this information. I'm going to pay you for this information. Now I have all my information. It's not for the right. Social media is the coolest game going right now. You know why? Because we're going to pay you for your contents. Tell us what you know. Show us what you could do. Teach us how to rule you. Because that's all we're doing through social media. Teaching the enemy how to rule us. We have lost sight of God because we arguing about who should rule and who's God talking to and who God is using. The same thing that the children of Israel did in the wilderness. So now, if I tell you about the stone that's going to go at the feet of the beast, this Christ. The 10 toes represents the 10 kingdoms in today's time. The 10 toes represents the 10 kingdoms in today's time. That's why the Bible says that it's 10. But the three is going to control the 7. The 7 going to follow the 3 that's being controlled by the 1. But all 10 is going to give their kingdom over to that one beast. This is why Revelation tells us that the first beast came out of the body of water. The body of water represents people. People. The second beast came from among them. He came out of the earth. He's going to be one of them. The first beast is going to give power to the second beast. The second beast is going to come out of the church. He's going to be a religious leader. The same thing they were arguing about in the wilderness. Who is the leader? God only talks to Aaron. God only talked to Moses. So now you got the children of them come together to go against Moses because they want to be in power. They want to lead. God is God and God is God all by himself. So the elementary stuff y'all doing in these churches today, miss me with that garbage. Why? Teach me about the lion, the bear, the leopard, the beast, Babylon, Media Persia, Greece, Rome, gold, silver, bronze, iron. Teach me about what the government doing, because it's all Bible. That's why in the wilderness, they mounted at Kadesh. At Kadesh, now they go spy in Canaan. When they go through Canaan, they go to the Gaza Strip. Now they get to see what's happening from the what? The Strip through Gaza. So now when they come back, they don't come back all 12 with a good report. So now y'all already couldn't afford, y'all ain't ready for this. Y'all could have easily went into Canaan right here. I heard y'all already fussing and murmuring about the food I'm giving y'all. Now y'all two gonna trip about whether Moses should be leading y'all or not. Well, okay, well, get some spies together. Let me see if y'all ready to go in the land, right? So now they got to go in the land. They don't come back with a good report. Only Caleb and Joshua. Y'all ain't ready. Y'all ain't ready to go in there. Y'all ain't ready. Tell you what, Moses, get 12 spies. Make sure you get Joshua. Moses, I need you to put hands on Joshua. Give Joshua the power you have, Moses. Because guess what, Moses? Joshua gonna have to lead these people into the promised land, not you, Moses. Go on Mount Nebo. Go up there on Mount Nebo. After y'all done went through these snakes. After y'all done went to almost to the land of Canaan. So now Moses, before they cross over the Jordan, Moses go on Mount Nebo and he could see it. Jericho. Boom. Now you can see the whole land of Canaan. Then he died. So how Moses know how long it took when he died? I'll wait. So now, God said, okay, you ready, Joshua? What you mean? But Moses. What Moses? Moses dead, bro. No, Moses up there in the mountain. God, he always go in the mountain. Now, brother, Moses dead. So Moses, if you dead, Moses, how you know how long it took? That's because, Moses, God gave you your 120 years. Remember when they was messing up before Noah? God never gave them a warning. What warning did they have before the flood? What warning they had? See, today we have nothing but warnings. What warning did they have before the flood? Show it to me in the Bible. So now God said, okay, my spirit won't dwell in man no more than 120 years. Paul, what you mean? 120 years from the time that you said to the time that the flood come, or 120 years, period. Because God, Abraham was over 120. He was over 120 when it starts. Moses, you did 40 years in Egypt under Pharaoh, right? From a child, right? Now you done killed the man. Now you're going by Jethro, keeping sheep, keeping his flock through the wilderness for 40 years, right? Now you got to come back to Egypt. God tells you to go tell Pharaoh to let his people go. So now you're going to do another 40 years, boom, and you're going to die in the wilderness. The Bible said you died at 120. God said his spirit won't be in man no longer than 120. So Moses, I see you gave us the 120 and then you died. So now give me an understanding of the 40 years in the wilderness, because according to the Bible, they were not wandering for 40 years. But yet that's what Moses said. But Joshua give us a better understanding. We know they were there for 40 years. They just wasn't wandering. So as we preach this in the church, the children of Israel wandered for 40 years. You take your eyes totally off of God. But if I teach you that it was a certain point in the wilderness, they began to murmur and complain about the food. They begin to murmur and complain about leadership. They come back with a bad report. They wondering about this and that. They gonna get a bunch of leaders to go against Moses. Now you see how God was always providing, keeping his people. Because you leaders, like Paul said, in the last days, y'all gonna be traitors. Y'all gonna be lovers of yourselves. Y'all gonna be boastful. The same thing that Paul tells Timothy was going to happen in the last days with the leaders. When I go back and I read in the wilderness, the same thing y'all did in the wilderness. So what you going to teach me, Pastor? You don't know enough. In your blue folder? In your blue folder? Page 104. Revelation 6, 1 through 8. The rider, the Antichrist, has a set of scales to measure out wheat. Wheat or barley was the basic food for people in John's day. A penny was about a day wages. Imagine working and earning only enough money to buy what food was needed for. It was needed for that day. What would a person do about feeding his family and providing the other necessities of life, such as housing, heat, clothing, transportation? This will be the situation in the end time, right before the Great Tribulation. Jokers ain't preparing y'all for that. Y'all don't even see it coming. Raise the insurance to raise the house note. If the house note go up, boom, your rent gonna go up. Why? I gotta pay insurance. So now, dude run game. Well, Pastor Mike, you know, at the church we gotta pay insurance, so we gotta go up on the rent. I already know the game was coming. I already know the game was coming. You don't think God had me prepared for what's getting ready to happen? A bunch of people is going to conform and follow the ways of the government and not God. Because we know more about the world than we know about God. This is why he had to bring them through the snakes to see who really trusts him and who really believe in him. Because this is the last thing before I take y'all into the promised land. If you keep your eyes on that golden, that snake up on that pole, you're going to be all right. If you keep your eyes on God, you're going to be all right. Not these good lies y'all telling in these churches, because y'all been faking and y'all been lying in these churches. Because guess what? You're going to have a bunch of children, millions, that's going to die of hunger. Who going to feed them? Who going to feed them? We already divided. We already don't get along. Who going to help the children? I'll wait. I'll wait. The white horse is deception. The red horse is division. The black horse, control. I'm going to deceive them. Once I deceive them, I'm going to divide them. Once I divide them, then I'm going to control them. After they control you, then come the pale horse, death. It's either going to be their way or no way. It ain't but two people involved in this. Satan and God. Satan and God. Ain't but two people, Satan and God. So you either going to roll with Satan or you're going to roll with God, because there's no in between. And that's where we are right now today. They divided us to where we got religion against religion. We got race against race. We have husbands against wives. We have neighbors against neighbors. We have employees against employers. They have already divided us, and they use social media. Now they come with the control. Boom. Look at all the stuff they're doing to us. Nothing but abuse, nothing but violence, nothing but murder, strife, insurrection. That was to control us. Now, here come the best part. Y'all believe all this stuff about God. Y'all believe all this stuff these pastors been telling y'all. Jesus said, these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. See, when the famine hit, because it's coming. The famine is coming. What you think Russia bombed Ukraine for? You might not feel it last year. You may not feel it this year. But just wait another year or two. That's where all the grain is at in Ukraine. That's where the grain is. That's where the wheat and the barley gonna come from. How do you think you'll get your bread and all this other stuff? You're gonna see. Gonna sit back to Mike told us. You're gonna see. Because the famine is coming. When the famine hit Canaan, Canaan is Israel, right? Back then it was Canaan. Today it's Israel. Abraham was already in the land of Canaan, right? When the famine came, where did Abraham run to? Where did Abraham run to? Egypt. He ran to Egypt. Did Abraham really trust God? No. Abraham ran to Egypt. When the famine came again in the land, where did Jacob run to? Jacob ran to Egypt. Nothing new under the sun. The famine is coming. The famine is coming. Who you gonna run to? Who you gonna run to? Because Jesus said, the end is not yet, but this gonna happen. This must come to pass. Before we could get into the tribulations, this must come to pass. Do I get some new clothes? Or do I pay the light bill? Or do I pay the water bill? Do I pay the rent? Do I feed the children? Because the economy doing this. Your paycheck this. Your paycheck ain't moving. Your paycheck is not moving. So how you gonna afford it? You all don't see what's going on in the Bible. And it's all right there in the book. And if you have a blue folder, all you gotta do is read it. All you gotta do is read it. Somebody says, Sunday, Pastor Mike, you've been telling us this for years. It was on the news. Think about the outcome of diseases that will occur when the next war breaks out. The unsanitary conditions and the outbreak of both old and new diseases, such as we witnessed with the venereal disease, the flu epidemic, smallpox, polio, measles, AIDS, and diphtheria. And there will be little, any medical supplies. What you gonna do then? What are you gonna do then? Because it's coming, people. It's coming. You heard what they did to Iraq? You heard what they did to you? Wars and rumors of wars. And we knew we're near ready. Because we run around church. Amen. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. Ooh, this. Okay. Sound good. Whoever keep their eye on that brass stake up on that pole, you're going to be all right. You're going to be all right. Moses, Aaron, get Eleazar ready. Because he's going to have to make sure the house is clean. He's going to have to make sure the house is clean. Because a lot of bodies about to drop. And according to Leviticus law, y'all can't touch nothing dead. So when the people around you start dropping, keep moving. Keep moving. Everybody talk that God game. Don't really trust and believe God. We know that it was some Egyptians left out of Egypt with Israel. We know, according to the plagues, that there was God in the wilderness. How you going to switch out on God? Because you're about to get in your wilderness. You're about to go through your wilderness. Just don't switch out on God. They switched out on God. It's a consequence when you switch out on God. So all the brothers running around talking about they did this and that. Your faith is about to be truly tested. No matter what y'all mean. They already ran the medical supply game on you already. You didn't pay attention to the shortage of the medical supply game? Pandemic? You have insurance? No, we don't have insurance. You have insurance? Yeah, we have insurance. Well, look, I'm gonna need you to get a machine for them, and we're gonna see what we have left to give this person here a machine. No insurance, no machine, no ventilator. No ventilator, you dies. Look at all the people that died during the pandemic because of a shortage of ventilators. Not because they didn't have them, but because that's the game they ran. I go to the dollar store. The girl said, so and so, where my stuff at? Girl, you know I got some stuff for you in the back. Oh, so that's what we doing? That's what we doing? We keeping supplies for our friends? Not for everybody? That what we doing? So if I go to the store and I need some medical supplies, you don't know me. I don't get none. But you done put all that over there on the side for your friends. Just make sure your friends be all right. We in trouble. If you wasn't paying attention during the pandemic, oh my God, that was a test. Remember now, Jesus says, wars and rumors of wars. The wars represents division. Red horse. He already said, see that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name. White horse. So we got your white horse, you got your red horse. Deceive you, control you, divide you. Now I'm going to control you. Because guess what? You're going to pay for this. You're going to pay for it. You want a haircut? $50. Want some crawfish? $20 a pound. You're going to pay for it. They can afford it. They have money. They can't afford it. So they can't get it. See the game? And it's going to get worse. I'm going to teach you the game. I told you Sunday. The message Sunday was what? The puzzle or the game. I'm going to teach you the game. I'm going to teach you the game. They be running game on y'all in these churches. I'm going to teach you the game. I'm going to take it and put it in your hand. This is why. It's the first thing we got to learn. The timeline of the Bible. And put everything in its proper order. Because that book you're reading is not in chronological order. Old Testament or New Testament. Man, we're in trouble, huh? Remember. She gave me this Sunday. I'm gonna put this up. I'm gonna put this in church Sunday. So everybody Sunday, I'll put some clippers on it or whatever. Make sure y'all grab this when y'all leave out of church Sunday. Everybody else, I'm gonna have to add it to the blue folder. The blue folder gonna be $10 a mail in a minute. It'll be $10 a mail in a minute. But I want you all to know the truth. I want you all to have a better understanding of the Bible, man. You cannot Google this. Google not gonna tell you this. Just like the other stuff in the blue folder. Any material I give you, it's gonna have deeper study, right? It's like with this, right? Give you an example of a deeper study. Acts 2:42, right? This is going to be the verse. This is the breakdown. This is a deeper study, right? It's going to put, you're going to see it, going to have in a deeper study. Fellowship. The fellowship worked by the Spirit of God means more than association existing in circular groups such as civic clubs and community bodies. There are a vast difference between community participation and spiritual participation. Community participation is based upon neighborly association. Spiritual participation is based as a spiritual union worked by the Spirit of God. It's going to get deep. It's going to get deep. It's going to get deep. I don't mind giving it to you. I mean, freely I received it. Freely I give it. Freely I received it. Freely I give it. When I was in that joint, I'm talking about I got papers from way back in 1995 when I first get on the compound. Got all these different religious groups coming in, you know, prison ministries coming in, all kind of stuff was coming in, right? I'm just collecting material. I'm just reading and reading because I want no God. I don't know nothing about no prosperity garbage. I don't know nothing about that. I was in jail when y'all was getting pimped and played. I don't know nothing about that garbage, right? I'm just reading all the material, these different people coming in, but they never do nothing of it. They just want to do volunteer. They just want to have prison ministry. Here, you're gonna need this. Here, read this. Here, read this. Here, read that. So okay, cool. I'm talking about I got boxes and boxes and boxes of material that people came in with these prison ministries. They didn't have what I had. They had the material, but they didn't have the time. I had nothing but the time to sit back and read it and study it and break it down and share it with the brethren. So now, almost 30 years later, you're gonna be able to find it on Amazon. You're gonna be able to find it on Google. This before Google. This before Google. Huh, Bert? Huh? This is before Google. So now, wait. Reconciled to God in fellowship with God, made new creatures in God, and filled with the Spirit of God, bearing all the fruits of God. All they now were and had was due to the death of Christ. All they now have and do was to the death of Christ. They wanted to remember and thank God for his great love, demonstrated in the death of his son, and to do it often. But y'all gonna be sharp. By the time we finish, y'all gonna be sharp, man. Y'all gonna be sharp. I'm gonna have Patrice and Lachelle get their email, send them y'all email address. They're gonna email it to you. Gonna email it to you. You're gonna get it, whether it's by mail, email, or in your hand. You're gonna get it. You're gonna get it. You're gonna get it. You're gonna get it. About to open up a whole new ball game. A whole new ball game. That stuff y'all been doing in these churches, elementary. And that's not putting nobody down. That's not belittling none of that. I'm saying, let's step y'all game up. Y'all already see when I pull out all these different books. I told the women, I'm gonna teach the women this year. Look at how they handle a woman. You ain't nobody, babe. You ain't nobody. In the Bible, you wasn't nobody. If you seen somebody kill somebody, well, I seen him do it. Your testimony wasn't worth a penny. Your testimony, baby, in the Bible wasn't worth a penny. But look at how strong the women in the Bible were. It wasn't until Jesus came where the women had to follow behind the men. But they were there. They were there. The women was the one who really finances his ministry, right? You get to Paul. They tried to get the women to go against Paul. But yet the women saying, hold up, man. What he's saying makes sense. Hold up. He allowed us to do this and that. This is why when you get in the 16th chapter of Paul would always meet the women in Thyatira by the river. But before that, a woman wasn't considered nothing in the Bible. Nothing. And that's why these jokers run out there. Ain't no woman supposed to preach. Ain't no one supposed to do this and that. All right, bro. All right, but pump your brakes. Pump your brakes. Because if it wasn't for the woman, we wouldn't have what we have. We wouldn't know what we know. But because a bunch of women won't preach, they don't even know how important a woman is in the Bible. So what you talking about? You going off what another man taught you to preach. Because if you really read and studied that Bible, they got some women in that Bible, all through that Bible. All through that Bible. The women running the game. The women running the game. Ask Solomon. Ask Solomon. He had 1,000 of them. 1,000 of them. And not now one of them women was women of Israel. None of them. They served other gods. They served other gods. And you gonna tell me who? Who? That woman? I'm gonna give her my daughter today, right? She was reading the stuff, right? She had found, I would mail my stuff to her, right? And she was reading the transcript, everything that happened during the time I was in court. And she said, Daddy, this happened, didn't that happen? She said, but Daddy, they said they couldn't find you guilty. That's what the jury said. The jury said, we done looked at all the evidence. We done heard all the testimonies. We don't think, I'm gonna bring the paper, I'm gonna show it to you in your face from the court. We don't think we can find him guilty. But I got 12 years, 7 months. But the jury said, we don't think that we will be able to find him guilty. I had a civil sue lawyer. I went to federal trial with a civil sue lawyer. Don't know nothing about no federal case. But the jury said, we don't think that we will be able to find him guilty, but I still wind up with 151 months. Explain that. Explain that. I want nobody but God, bro. That's why I don't trip. God showed me, Mike, I could let you go. I could let you go right now, Mike. But I need you, son. Got some stuff I want to teach you. Got some stuff I want you to know. When I went in that jail, I ain't know nothing about no Bible. I ain't know nothing about no Bible. I didn't know one verse. I'm 28 years old when I got arrested. I didn't know one verse in the Bible. I didn't know one verse in the Bible. Well, Pastor gonna holler every Sunday. They gonna sing, they gonna cut a fool. At the age of 30, I don't know nothing about no Bible. Nothing. I went to Catholic school, 1st through 8th grade. I know Hail Marys, I know Our Fathers, I know Rosary. I don't know nothing about God. God set me down. God said, you're gonna learn this book, boy. And you're gonna learn it the way I teach it to you. That's why I say, your pastor them couldn't teach me nothing. Couldn't teach me a thing. God said, you're gonna learn this book the way I teach it to you. Now look, I run that Bible backwards. Revelation to Genesis, all day, all night, just running. Going to 12th chapter of this book, going to 12th chapter of that book, put them together. Going 13, 13, 13, put them together. Go 5, 5, 5, put them together. And put the whole Bible together. Say, bro, I don't knock what you think you know. I don't knock what you want to know. Just don't bring that garbage over here, bro. It's a whole different ball game. So now God say, okay, here you go. Freely I gave it to you, Mike. Freely you give it to them. What did you say, Jesus? Freely I gave y'all power to tread over serpents and scorpions. Freely I told y'all to cast out demons and heal the sick. Did I charge y'all for that? I freely gave it to you, right? Now go freely handle y'all business. Now go freely handle y'all business. Oh, but people gonna give you something to drink. Don't worry about that. They might even give you some shoes. Don't worry about that. Oh, they might put something in your pocket. Don't worry about that. But you don't charge them for that, okay? You give it to them. And if they won't give you something, they give you something. If not, come on back. I got you. Isn't not that what I told them? It's not that what I told them. In Numbers, isn't not that what I told them? the salt of the covenant of salt. I got you, Levi. I got you. And when you really study the salt of the covenant, and you really study the Levi, but God, we don't have nothing in the land right now. I know. Where we gonna live, God? Don't worry about it. How we gonna make it, God? Didn't I tell you I got you? Didn't I make the covenant of salt with you? Didn't I tell you the tent was gonna be yours forever? What you worried about? But I gotta pay my bill. I know, don't worry about it. I got you. I got you. So now, once they are in the land of Canaan, a while later, God gave them 48 pieces. 48 pieces of the land. Put them over here, put them some over there, go over there, go over there. But when they went in the land of Canaan, what they had, God was the inheritance. You trust God, you have faith in God, you allow God to lead you and guide you, watch what he do for you. Watch what he do for you. The average person don't trust God. The church ain't been teaching us to trust God. The church been teaching us to beg God. The church been teaching us to make God do something for us. And when God don't do it, now we mad with God. Because we believe God's supposed to do that for us. When we supposed to be servants of God. And God gonna bless you with the cancer. So, what that lady that we laid hands for, and Pastor told her the cancer was going, oh, she died a month ago. For real? Yeah. I'll wait. I'll wait. The day y'all stop all that lying and faking in these churches, watch what God do. Watch what God do. The day y'all stop lying, the day y'all stop faking in these churches, watch the power of God. Watch. Y'all like the children of Israel, just wandering because of y'all rebellion against God. Y'all want positions, y'all want stature, y'all want material things. This is why, if you don't understand the 12th chapter of Exodus, you will never understand the 12th chapter of Numbers. Because now you have to deal with the geographical material of things. What are the geographical material of things? Go back in that 12th chapter. Take that 12th chapter of Exodus, and pin it against that 12th chapter of Numbers, and watch. Go back in that 13th chapter of Genesis, and pin it with that 13th chapter of Numbers, and watch. Wasn't nothing new. Canaan wasn't. Who Canaan was new to? Who it was new to? Wasn't new to Abraham. Wasn't new to Isaac. Wasn't new to Jacob. They were already in Canaan. But what part of Canaan were they in? Because God gave them the opportunity to go in the part of Canaan where Abraham had already set up an altar. But because of the rebelliousness, now they got to wander and come through another part of Canaan. And the only way God could suffice things is to bring them in through this area across the Jordan, because they got to come across the water. So now I'm going to kill two birds with one stone. I'm going to send Moses on Mount Nebo. While he on Mount Nebo, y'all come across the Jordan. As y'all come across the Jordan, now y'all in Canaan, which is modern day Israel. Canaan, Israel, same thing. Same thing. Same thing. Oh, we got to pray for Israel. Okay. For what? For what? Gaza and Jerusalem is what you better keep your eyes on. That's what is going to happen in Jerusalem. As Paul wrote to the Thessalonians, he wanted to sit on the throne in Jerusalem and rule as if he's God, the Antichrist. It's going to come out the church. It's going to take place in Jerusalem according to the writings in the Bible. That goofy stuff y'all doing, y'all can have that foolishness. Y'all can have that foolishness. He said, go ye therefore and make disciples. He ain't never said make a fool out of God's people. That's what they've been doing, making a fool out y'all. Bible. Bible. It's going to be all right. This one in your blue folder. You have the book of John. See this book? See that book of John? See that book of John? We're going to break down that book of John. The events of this book cover a period of only about 3.5 consecutive years in the life of the Lord Jesus Christ. The earthly ministry from his baptism by John the Baptist to his resurrection and ascension. John, the book of John. So now, John is on the island of Patmos. On the island of Patmos, John have Paul's writings. Paul ain't have John writings. John have Paul's writings. So now as John writing Revelation, John have an understanding of the things Paul was saying. So now, here you go. How, John? Because Paul gave us the mysteries that was hidden until then. So how you going to teach me something when the mystery of the something that you're trying to teach me was hidden until now? What you going to teach me? And you ain't even know the mysteries. Explain it. Because you still stuck at an eye have not seen, or ear have not heard, and neither have it into the heart of man. You stuck at verse 9. I'm in verse 10. But it has been revealed to us by the Spirit. So how you don't know? But you don't have the Spirit of God in you. Understand Paul's writings. Understand John's writings. Understand Moses' writings. Understand Joshua's writings. Joshua wrote the last chapter of Deuteronomy because Moses died. Samuel wrote the book of Ruth while in Judges. So now when I read Judges, Ruth, and Samuel, I have a better understanding. The only reason how Ruth get in the game, because I got to go all the way back to Lot. If I go back to Lot, I'm going to show you how Lot was in Sodom and Gomorrah. After they leave Kadesh of Benira, they got to pass back through where? Sodom and Gomorrah. Bible. Y'all be sitting out, y'all be running out there with that elementary teaching. This where they started, right? This where they went down. This where they built a tabernacle down here. This is where they come back up at Kadesh Benira. This is where they're going to travel, right? When they come back, past Edom, Sodom and Gomorrah. Past Sodom and Gomorrah, come on up. Come across the Jordan. Without Ruth. Because Ruth continues Lot. Lot was the nephew of Abraham. Say, Lot, you want no Israelite? So when they come to the land, say, man, remember what God did? What God did when he had destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah? Yeah, I remember that. On their way to Canaan. Boy, y'all better leave that elementary stuff alone, bro. I'm telling you, y'all better come over here so we can really learn this book, man. Get a better understanding of this book, man. Well, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna break it down for you tomorrow. The end of the world. The end of the world. 3.5 years, signs which begins the sorrows. 3.5 years, unparalleled trials, the great tribulation. His angel gathered his elect, seeing the Son of Man come. Based upon the days, month given in the book of Revelation, if Daniel time equals 1 year, then his words time 1 year times 2 years, and half time, half years, are equal to 3.5 years. That's Bible talk. That's Bible talk. That's Bible talk. That's why I told you, Joe, with that elementary and all, that's Bible talk. So all the way you said 1 year, then 2 years. 1 and 2 is 3, get you 3 years, 3.5 years. But Daniel, slow your roll. Daniel, break that down, Mike. All you gotta do is go read the 9th chapter, Mike. That's why I'm gonna put you on game about the abomination of desolation. Is not that what Jesus told you in the 24th chapter of Matthew? And when you should see the abomination of desolation spoken by the prophet Daniel, Mike, I was already putting you on game when I left out of the 7th chapter, telling you about the lion, the bear, the leopard, the beast. What the word are you talking about, Daniel? Y'all faking it in these churches, boy. Y'all don't have a clue. Y'all don't have a clue. And each one represents kingdoms. And all this stuff is about to hit us. Boom. As we get closer and closer to the ending of the world. It's Bible, baby. All day long. All day long. Back then, I'm reading the Bible like, hold up, go, wait, what the world is this? What the world is this? What the world is this? See, when the pandemic hit, I said, oh, wait, God, let me go get that. I read that. I studied that. God, I didn't understand that 20 years ago. You do now. Now teach my people. And you want me to listen to him? You want me to listen to him? Because he think he over some organization? You want me to listen to him? Because he a bishop? You want me to listen to him? Because he an apostle? Well, tell him, come teach me something. If he could teach me something, I'll listen to him. If he could teach me, I'll listen. I don't want to hear no more church garbage. I don't want to hear no more church lies. I know what the children of Israel did. It will cause them to wander. God is trying to take us somewhere. The holy city, the New Jerusalem. Is not that what John said in the 21st chapter? And he said, and the tabernacle of God is going to be with man. And then God says that he will wipe away all the tears, all the pain. No more hurt, no more sorrow. So now you explain it to me. Because y'all been telling lies. We go all day. Pastor them probably over there listening. And all I can do is give it to you. What you do with it, all I can do is give it to you. So now, we're in the 20th chapter of Numbers. How the world we get? Because Aaron and Moses doubted God. Because they was always rebelling against God. What we doing today? Rebelling against God. The day we line up with God, time to roll out now. Time to roll out. Everything happened in that 11th. Dude said, well, Pastor Mike, how long were they in the wilderness? Well, they was in the wilderness for 40 years. But they did not wander for 40 years. They started wandering when they started rebelling. And once God allowed so many people to die, This last death gonna come from these snakes. Now y'all on y'all way. But look at all the people we lost. Okay, what that mean? That mean to God. What that mean to God? They didn't trust God. They didn't believe God. They wasn't rolling with God. They was displeasing. Read each chapter. And it displeased Moses. And it displeased God. And it displeased Moses. And it displeased God. Whole time, people. We're going to be all right. Study to show thyself approved as a workman unto God, not being ashamed of rightly dividing the word of truth. Got a funeral Friday, so I don't know. I might go live from the funeral. I got to preach. Yesterday, man, I laid down. I don't know. I don't know somebody took some of the logs off, and I showed up and told her. I rode. It was a 5. I'm about 5 minutes away from the house in the car, right? It took me 30 minutes to get home. 5 minutes took 30 minutes. So I understand the Bible now, you know. Then as soon as I get off from doing this, I get ready to go in the house. Where the water come from? I go open the hot water heater tank. All the water coming out the hot water heater. I said, okay, God, do you, babe? It is what it is. You ever do cry? It is what it is. Oh, Lord, what I'm going to do? You ain't going to do nothing. God said, you going to do nothing. You trust me. It's going to be all right. And that's what God wants us to do, trust him. Want us to trust him. I said, oh, Lord, now I got to fix the hot water heat. Now I got that's hot water. Okay, God. Mike, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Stay focused. That's what I tried to teach the children of Israel. Don't worry about nothing, man. Just stay focused. If you stay focused, I'm going to make it work. Just stay focused. Gotta stay focused on God, people. I'm telling y'all, man, I'm going to teach you all this Bible and give you the material. It don't matter, man. It don't matter to me. I want you to know God. I want you to grow. Jesus had to grow in God. You know we got to grow in God. And you think Jesus, when he first ran into the ministry, he knew everything? He didn't know everything. He didn't know. He was going as he did it. He did it as he go. This is why Jesus would always go in prayer and pray to God. Jesus ran into a fork in the road in his own life. And look, I done opened up blinded eyes. I done stopped up ears. I done loosed dung tongue, called a lame to walk. I'm getting popular. But then when he prayed, he thought about it. He said, that's not what I came to do. I didn't come to run behind popularity. I came to teach these people and give them the kingdom of God and get ready to get on their cross. So Jesus himself had to get focused. Jesus didn't grow in God until the woman touched the hem of his garment. And when the woman touched the hem of his garment, that's when he understood, whoa, this thing's serious. This thing's serious. Nobody understood like Jesus understood. Everybody touching you. No, man, that's something different. Something different than happened here. I felt something go out of me. That's when Jesus knew. Say, bro, all right, God. All right, God. He was man, just like we. He was man. But he had to grow in God. Got to grow in God, man. All that preaching they've been doing, y'all didn't learn nothing from them preaching. Y'all didn't learn nothing from them preaching. Nah. But see, when they stop all that preaching and start teaching it to you, Bird, that's all I be saying, bro. Watch the understanding y'all get. So, y'all getting it preached to you. Then you come by Pastor Mike, he teaching it. Preaching and teaching is two different things. Bird? Two different things. Y'all ears have been trained to a bunch of preaching, not teaching. All right, bro. Y'all better wake up. Stop listening to all these lies. Go check on these kids, man. Make sure we good for Friday. Oh, I gotta email some stuff. Love y'all, man. Talk to y'all.